Hey guys, it's RescueRabbit101 here. So first off, I'd like to apologize. There's going to be no Tech Tuesday and no Weird Deck Wednesday this week. I've had quite a bit of homework and other things I have to do for school and exams and tests and other such junk that has kind of taken away from the time I can record. So instead, I'm just going to bring you the deck profile of the deck I was playing at the OTS last Saturday, which I attended. I took second. There were 6 rounds of Swiss, and we did top 8 cut. And my round 1 was against Necroz, and I beat him. Round 2 was Spirit Beast, and I beat him. I was playing Evilswarms, if you hadn't figured that out from the casters. Round 3, I beat a Satellar Knight player. Round 4, I lost to Cleese. Round 5, I beat another Satellar Knight player. And round 6, I lost to Burning Abyss. I placed 6th in Swiss. And for my tops, I beat Necroz, Cleese, and then lost in the finals to Necroz off of misplays games 2 and 3 that cost me the loss. Because Danko is a really annoying card for this deck. So I decided to play Evilswarms mostly just because I had all the cards and I really know the deck very well. For anyone who's been watching this channel, it's the same deck I took to Nationals in 2012 and I did pretty well with it. So I knew the deck pretty well, and it has decent Necroz Klee matchups. It has a really good Spiritual Beast matchup. But its Satellar and Burning Abyss are kind of weak. So I figured as long as I played smart and I didn't make any dumb mistakes, I should be able to do fine. So I did get my invite, and yeah, let's just go straight into the deck. So first, I'm playing 3 Castor. You have to play 3 Castor in this deck. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that card. 3 Heliotrope. Again, you have to, not only for the monster count, because he's not even bad to draw. But I do draw. When you draw 2 with him, he's kind of terrible. I was playing 1 game, and I opened Heliotrope Rabbit, and then my top deck for the 6th card, because I was going second, was another Heliotrope. Sorry if I'm sniffling a little bit, guys. I'm feeling a little under the weather. 3 Mandragora. In this format, a lot of times you'll be forced to go second if they get the pick of the turn. And Mandragora, if you don't open Castor or the Rhoda, Mandragora can actually make the turn 1 Ophion plays, and he actually livens your hands that would otherwise be dead, which is why I play 3 of him, but only 2 Thunderbird. I'd like to play 3 Thunderbird, but there's just not room in the deck for the 3rd Thunderbird. And it was between Mandra and Thunderbird, but what I don't like about Thunderbird is, yes, he can bounce himself out of there again and again and again, but he's not actually accomplishing you, like, anything. You're just going to take a whole lot of direct damage, and Mandragora can actually make the Ophion in 1 turn. The 3 Kerykeion, that requires no explanation. You have to play 3. And the 1 Rescue Rabbit, because, yeah. The monster lineup's fairly standard for the deck. There's no Maxis, no hand traps, because there's just not enough room in this deck. This deck it has to be 40 to make it consistent, but it's a really tight deck. So next we had the 3 Rhoda. Your only Rhoda target is Castor. You can play like DD Warrior Lady for spot removal, but I don't like the card. But Castor is such a key card, it's worth it to play 6 Castors. Next we have 3 of the spell card. I've seen a lot of people cut this card down to 2 or even 1, but the thing I realized about the card is, if nothing else, you need it just so that your Ophion has a search target, and opening one of these is not terrible because your opponent is going to use all of their trap cards on the midget monsters. So you basically want to actually draw 1 of these and then search the other 2 and the trap card. So you basically have to play 3 solely so you can open it. 3 MST, that's staple this format, Raigeki, and Snatch Steal. There's only 11 spells because I don't play Book of Moon. I'd love to. That's one of the cards that if I had more room, I'd play it, but I didn't really need it, and there's just not enough room in the deck. Trap, Solemn Bottomless Compulse, no Torrential because I don't feel like going Neg 2, and I don't think it's worth it because I'm playing 3 copies of Mirror Force. This card is incredibly good. I did a video about how good this card is. This card wins so many games because no one blind MSTs anymore. They save it for the Floodgates, and if they do blind MST, they're going to get destroyed by the Floodgates in this deck. Like, you play a lot of Floodgates. So, Mirror Force in the main was so good. 1 macro, and 1 Infection. Infection's a great card, and it's great when you just have 1 monster because you put up the Infection, and they can't really kill the monster because it shuffles it back into the deck for cost. So they're only out to the monsters actually in MST for the Infection, which can kind of suck. But again, they'll say that they're generally cards like the Floodgates, like the Macro. In this card, you basically have to main deck it. I wanted to main deck Dethazier, but I took out my Dethazier. Sorry, and my 2 Black Horn of Heavens for 3 Mistake. This card was like the MVP of the main deck. Yes, I do actually search a decent amount with the 3 Rhodas and the Ophion effect. And in fact, Infection too. But there's so many decks this format are hurt infinitely more. And since I'm only going to search on the first turn, like, really, I can go search with Ophion, set Mistake, and then I flip it. And, you know, if you're playing against Necroz, you basically just won the game. Because if they don't already have the Unicorn and the Ritual Spell, they can't get to it. And they can't out the Ophion unless they have the Unicorn or the Call of Souls. But you play a lot of traps. And last but not least, 3 Emptiness. And that shouldn't require any explanation, because this is a anti-meta deck, and Emptiness is a really good card. Extra deck. 2 Evilswarm Ophion. Now, most people play 3, and I can understand why. It's your boss monster. You really do want to play 3 of the card. But the reason I play 2 is partially because of space constraints. There's a lot of cards I wanted to play in the deck, and personally, if I had more extra deck slots, the 3rd Ophion would be like the first thing I would put in. But I didn't actually have the room in the extra deck. So I only played 2, and there were a few times I'd want to make a 3rd Ophion, but it was pretty rare, and I kind of like my other extra deck choices because they're all super conditional, but so is the 3rd Ophion. 1 Bahamut, I considered making him, but I never actually made the 1 Bahamut. By the way, I actually did go into double Ophion quite a bit. But I never actually, I might have made Bahamut once, but I don't think I did. And, but it's a really, like, Bahamut's a good card. I would never consider taking him out just because he's a Snatch Steal / Big Eye effect. Like, he can win you games really easily. Key Beetle, I think I considered going into him a couple of times, and I might have gone into him once or twice just because I actually think I might have done this to somebody. I think I had Key Beetle out with a Mistake, a Vanities, and a Macro on field. And Key Beetle was protecting 2 of the cards. And, like, it was Necroz, so, like, what are you going to do to that field? You can't do anything to me. The 1 Rhapsody. This card, okay, I took Rhapsody out for a time because I wanted to make room for the next card. But the moment I took him out, I needed him the next 2 consecutive games. This card is way too good not to run. I beat a Necroz player one game because I got him down to 3,500 life points, and then next turn he searches the Valkyros so he doesn't die. And I already have Ophion on field, and I go Rhapsody, banish, and banish all your Necroz cards in gray equipped to Ophion, game. This card gets you out of so many situations just because it can stop the Valkyros effect. 1 Diamond Crab King. In case you guys don't know what it does, I'm not going to read the card. It's the new card out of the Zexal manga. Basically, what it is it's 0 attack, 3,000 defense, and it can switch those stats around and then go into defense position after it attacks. So it's a towers out. That's the only reason you play it, really, is because you can make this thing, its attack is still 0 because that's what towers does, and then its attack becomes 3,000 and you kill the frickin' towers. Because its effect reads, this card's attack becomes 3,000. Cowboy to finish off game. There's actually an OTK in the deck, which is really unlikely, but basically you clear their field, and then you go Ophion, detach both, Kerykeion into Castor, and do another monster Cowboy through game. It's really conditional, but you can pull it off, and Cowboy is just a great card. The 1 Dweller, because, you know, Dweller can single-handedly beat a bunch of decks. Exciton, that's self-explanatory. I don't play 2 in this deck, because first of all, my extra deck is super cramped. Second, I don't think you're ever going to make the second Exciton. I don't even think I made this one. I get that he's an Evilswarm, and that you can protect him, but that doesn't, like, make him a good card, in my opinion. The 1 Diamond Dire, I might cut this card. Like, I never made him, but the fact is, it gives you the access to pop set back row, which no other Xe can do, so that's why he's in here. Castor, that's pretty self-explanatory. I should have made him, and I might have won a game, but I didn't, and I lost. The 1 101. I like 101 and Castor because 101 is still a 2100 beat stick that can't die once, so I like having one of each. The one Pappy. I actually might cut this as well, but the thing I really like about Papal Operative is that it can actually switch, you know, the Colossuses into attack position. And now they're 600 attack, and if I already had the Ophion or any other monster, it puts them in a much harder position. And, you know, Pappy, you can get a lot of things into attack position and deal massive damage through them. Because one of the problems this deck has is none of the monsters are actually that beefy, so if they have an Emptiness effect on the field and something with, like, 2,000 plus defense, you can't get around it. Or heck, even if they don't have an Emptiness and you're just not drawing your second monster. And so if Ophion doesn't affect them, you can actually just make this and deal massive damage to their defense position monsters. And I actually did make Pappy a couple of times. So, Ragna Zero. This card's kind of the staple of this format. No, Rex Cleese. And the one Dark Rebellion. I never made this card, but you know what? 2,500 points of the game through. Rank 4s I'm thinking about playing. I kind of want to play Heartland Draco because he deals 2,000 through, but I feel like Rebellion does sort of the same thing. I still kind of want to play Heartland Draco. And what's his face? A third Ophion. Those were the only things. If you don't have some of those cards, you can play those instead. Side deck, 3 Dirge. This colors your Satellar Knight and your Burning Abyss matchup, which are basically your hardest matchups this card colors because any rank 4 matchup, this card, any Ixie based matchup, this card colors, and those are your hard matchups in this deck. 2 Light Imprint, more Satellar hate. That deck is really hard to play against. 2 Spell Shattering Theory Wind. First of all, the 2-in-1 Theory Wind out Skill Drain, and Spell Shattering doesn't. But also, I don't own 3 Spell Shattering. But you can interchange these 3 cards basically for whatever you want. That's just my thoughts on it. Is they're pretty interchangeable. 2 Mind Crush. I might up this to 3. The side deck needs a lot of tweaking, but it actually worked out pretty well. 2 Fiendish. This card was a last-second decision. I was in the car going there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put Fiendish in. And this card does actually a surprising amount of work against Necroz for you, because you can stop their attacks going at your monsters or your Ophion, and if they go and if they have Unicorn on field, and you have a set Fiendish, and you have the Ophion, you don't flip this immediately. You wait for them to activate their spell card, and then you chain this, and if they don't have the second Unicorn, which is highly unlikely, they don't get to summon anything. So you can actually just, you know, completely stop the Necroz player for a whole turn based on it. Deithage, that's pretty standard. Soul Drain, and this was kind of the weird card, but I played 1 EEV. Don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, 1 EEV. I'm still debating on this card. I mean, I haven't drawn it yet, and the theory behind it is you side it in against any matchup, basically. It works against most matchups. Not that great against Necroz, though. I wouldn't side it in against them. It's not that great. But the idea behind the card is similar to the Mind Crush theory, that if you get to know their hand, you are in an inherently better position, even if you don't hit any cards with this. And if, let's say they're doing something that's going to kill your Ophion off anyways, and you just go EEV, sack Ophion, call spells or traps, depending on the deck, and then you get to look at their hand and knock off maybe just 1 card. That's all you need to break even with this, because they're exhausting 1 card to kill your Ophion, you chain. So all you need is 1 card to break even, and you get to see their next 3 draws, so that's pretty good. Sorry. Alrighty, that's the deck, guys. Remember to leave a like, and remember to subscribe to see more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. Again, I'm sorry I might not have any videos out this week, though I'm pretty sure I'll have a Fighting Them at a Friday out. But I'm sorry I couldn't get out the other 2 videos, because, again, I've had a couple projects and tests, and we're coming to the end of the quarter, and all my after-school activities that had tests are coming up now as well, and I just had a lot on my plate. So yeah, this is Rescue Rabbit 101 signing out.